Hi, this is Thresdend, and this is part 12 of an Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road walkthrough. I actually got one of these West-wheeled crates, I think it's called,
This
right when I
one
logged
welcomes
in.
you back.
Wild Hunt Crate. That's what it's called. It was my daily reward. So let's see what's in it.
An excellent selection.
Okay.
This could be helpful.
A Bannekin? Alright.
Your crates are gone, my friend. But there are always additional crates available for purchase.
Alright,
no
so
more
most...
crates, but you can always purchase more.
Mostly junk, as usual. But, let me get some gems out of this. I think I'm gonna hang on to this crown lesson writing stamina, but
Goodbye, my friend.
let's see this Bannekin. Alright. That's a pretty cool pet. Okay, so in the previous episode, we went into this delve, Nungala, and we stopped a ritual that was being performed by some evil necromancers. And now what I want to do is to go up here. We've got two quests over here. Let's see. Faded Scarlets and Found Family. Faded Scarlet says, Hook, an ex-thief, believes someone is murdering members of his old gang, the Scarlets. He asked me to help him find the remaining Scarlets and protect them from the killer. Hook asked me to find 3 old members of his gang and convince them to meet him at the Skingrad Outlaws Refuge. Now, we've already helped Valenia. She was over here in Vashabar. So we've just got to help the other 2, and one of them is going to be over here. I don't know if this is a delve or a town or what, but the other one is Found Family. I found a note from a trapper near a snared wormmouth called Versidue. The note says if I return Versidue to Stargazer Saria in Ontus, I'll be rewarded. I gathered Versidue from the trapper's snare. I should finish the job and return it to Stargazer Saria for payment. Okay, so this is obviously a town called Ontus. So that should be interesting. There's probably another side quest we can pick up there. So however long that takes, once we finish that, we can go back to town if there's nothing else on the way that gets me distracted. Wait, am I already at Ontus? Yeah. Looks like maybe this is Ontus. There's a sky shard right up here. Yeah. Oh, I gained a skill point. What do I want to use this skill point on? Maybe I'll do some crafting, or what? Do I have all my armor skills? I do. What about classes? Passives? Got all of those. I don't have these. But I think this is the healing. I don't necessarily need those. What's this? Oh, I don't care about damage shields. I'm not doing PvP on this. Okay, so I guess I'll get some crafting skills or something, like, let's do Keen Eye Claw. Why not?
Oh! Traveler! Can you stop? I'm very lost. And a bit woozy. Oh, yeah, the Hello there. Where are you and who are we?
Are you alright?
Maybe. Well, I don't know. I'm lost and drunk. Very drunk. I just started a new job. At a vineyard. Somewhere in Westfield. I don't know my way around here that well.
Which vineyard?
The one with the grapes. They give you a few bottles when you sign on. I thought Westfield wine would be piddly, like elf wine. Let me tell you, it's not. So, which way should I go to get somewhere? Anywhere. Preferably the vineyard.
Okay, so I can either tell her I know where there's some vineyards, or I can tell her I know of some safe places that aren't vineyards. So let's go with that one.
Oh, by Malakath. Just tell me.
Should I send her to Vashabar or Ontus? The town of Ontus is up that road.
Aunt me, aunt you, aunt us. Conjugation. Got it. I'm gonna go. To the Ontus. Bye now.
I don't know if that's where the
you.
vineyard...
I hope I remember all this in the morning because you're my new best friend. I love friends so much.
I don't want to be your friend. I thought Ontus would be safer because it's right here, whereas if I told her to go to Vashabar, I'm afraid she would get attacked by bandits on the road with her being drunk and everything. Constable seeks deputy. The town of Ontus, located northwest of Skingarad, between Weatherly Estate and Centurion's Rise, seeks to hire a deputy to assist the new constable with clearing pending investigations regarding suspicious deaths in the town. Interested applicants should present themselves to newly appointed Constable Yabrin. She can usually be found in the graveyard right outside town. She just hangs out in the graveyards? Really? Theft song. First, rite of theft song. First, I stole your dagger. Then you stole it back. Now I want your short bow, along with your pack. Do kindly hand it over. You needn't make a fuss. It comes around, it goes around, between the two of us. That's the rite of theft, a Bosmer sacred dance. A back and forth of sneak and swipe. Quite the romance. First you steal from me, and then I steal from you. But when we steal from them, a heaping boon is due. You took my purse of gold. I would have shared it freely. But what's that I see in there? Oh look, I spy a steely. That's the rite of theft, a Bosmer sacred dance, a back and forth of slip and snatch, quite the romance. Who is this? Marnardine Guinea or Jean?
Ontus is overflowing with new arrivals. I suppose I'm one too, although I keep a lower profile than these red guards. My employers generally prefer discretion in my line of work.
So you're an assassin, okay? Stargazer Saria.
Do you need something, traveler? I'm waiting on a friend of mine to bring me something very important.
I've got Versidue and a note from a trapper to return it to you.
Oh, Versidue! My sweet little scaly friend. I was so lonely without him. Thank you, traveler. You don't know what it means to have Versidue by my side again. Please, take this. It's the least I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing Versidue back. He's my little king. I couldn't imagine life without him. Still, I'm missing a piece of home. I asked Marcian to trap some guzzards for me, but they haven't returned. I'll reward you if you catch them for me.
What did you ask Marcian to trap?
I asked them to trap some guzzards for me as pets, an adolescent and an adult. They remind me of my home back in Craglorn. I also lost my dear pet wormmouth, Versidue, on the journey here. If anyone can bring these creatures to me, it's Marcian.
Okay. Alright, what do we have here? Stone Chip Tavern.
I've worked in far worse taverns than this. The kind that only serve cheap ale and unkind stares. I haven't had to break up more than 2 or 3 fights a night here.
More than 2 or 3 fights, huh?
Please, make yourself comfortable, traveler. There's plenty of ale to go around.
What's a jumped-up alligator gotta do to get a drink around here?
You get to see it all in my line of work. The richest of the rich, and the poorest of the poor. Knaves and nobles bump shoulders while the tavern wench watches. Sometimes she sees too much. That's when it's time to move on.
Wait, is that the same girl I just talked to, but she said something different that time?
A glass of wine a day keeps the fever away.
It might give you a different kind of fever, depending on how strong the glass of wine is.
My scales are dry enough to make a Vish Khalil blush. And the barkeep says I can't afford the good stuff. Spare a coin so a self-loathing wretch can drink himself into oblivion?
Hook needs you to come to the Skingrad Outlaws Refuge. Someone's killing off the Scarlets.
Let them try. You said Hook told you about this killer. He must be lonely. We agreed to split up for good after everything that happened. Now he wants us back?
After what happened?
Our last job. The one we got sent to prison for. He didn't tell you? We got greedy after living off caravans. Hook scouts a vineyard, the Kylam estate. Says the family's traveling. A quick smash and grab, no one gets hurt.
It didn't work out that way?
The family caught us. We made a break for it and people got hurt. Thanks for ruining what's left of my bottle. I'll take my chances here. Besides, with my tab, I'd lose my tail if I tried to run off to Skingrad.
If I deal with your tab, would you go to the Outlaws Refuge in Skingrad?
If you part with your coin for me, I'll follow you anywhere. But the swill they serve here isn't worth a sacrifice like that. A Scarlet would find the ledger in Lorena's house and trim its leaves. No record, no debt. Simple.
I'll just pay your tab. How big is it?
Really? It's a healthy amount of gold. That's the problem with drinking as an Argonian. It takes a lot to put us in our cups. By the time the ale kicks in, all your coin's been kicked out.
It's only 693 gold. This should cover it.
Well, well. Aren't you a generous soul? I'd play a song for you from my Vosa Sattel, but I bartered it for, well, you know.
Hook's waiting for you in the Skingrad Outlaws Refuge.
I'll amble over that way, sure. Hook can buy me a round or two for my trouble. Of course, if there's really a killer on my tail, and they see me wobbling in the road, I'll just hide in some tall grass.
Can you get to Skingrad? You'll be safe there.
Safe from what? A mysterious murderer? Who's to say whether Hook is jumping his shadows? I'm sorry some old comrades are dead, but thieves die every day. If it's my time, it's my time. Don't worry. I'll make it to Skingrad.
All right. Well, I've done what I was supposed to do. I can't make him sober up and get to Skingrad safely, you know? I should still get paid, even if he dies on the way. Oh, didn't mean to steal that. This character is not a thief. Alright, so nothing in here really. Was there a book? No, that's not a book. Okay. So... Oh, this is the quest for this location. So I need to go talk to the constable. Let me go get this way shrine first. Alright, once I finish this quest, I'll just go back to Skingrad and finish up some quests that need to be
I will
turned
bring
in.
your murderer to justice, Father. This, I swear.
Ulbrin af Ander. Ulbrin af Ander, respected constable of the town of Ontus, beloved father, died doing what he loved. Even as the fever ravaged him, he will be missed.
You've come to the town of Ontus at an unfortunate time, traveler. I myself have only just returned. Coming home to bury one's father is never an easy thing.
I'm here about the job posting, but did I hear you say your father was murdered?
What other explanation is there? My father, Oberyn, was town constable. He wrote to me about investigating some suspicious deaths. Then suddenly, I get a letter telling me he had died. I requested leave from the Legion and returned as fast as I could.
Do you have proof that your father was murdered?
Not yet. First, I volunteered to replace him as constable. Then I had to make the arrangements to bury him. With multiple deaths to investigate, I need to hire a deputy. So what do you say, traveler? Interested in the job?
I'll help you investigate the suspicious deaths in Ontus.
Your first task is to familiarize yourself with what's happening here. The graveyard is a good place to start. Notice the number of recent markers and the similar causes of death. Go on. We can talk again after you examine the newer grave markers.
See, I thought maybe she was just a goth girl and that's why she was hanging out in the graveyard, but apparently it's because she was at her father's grave, so that's understandable. Tell me about this town, Yabrin.
Ontus attracts workers from both the Highlands and Hammerfell. It's known for its prosperous ranch. And the quarry has made a fortune supplying Cyrodiil with stone to repair keeps on all sides of the war. As a legionary, I'm not thrilled about that.
You're a legionary?
I was. Still am, I suppose. My commanding officer granted me leave to put my father's affairs in order. When that's done, then I'll decide if I'm still needed here, or if my place is back with the Westweald Legion.
Alright. Well, let's investigate. Evanoa Harkland. Evanoa Harkland, a quarrier's quarrier. She never refused hard work. Known as the fastest pickaxe in Ontus. Died too young from that damn fever. Leaving behind friends, loved ones, and a debt as long as the Strid at the Stone Chip gambling den. Gel Vashrif. Gel Vashrif burned the candle at both ends, labored at the ranch by day and in the quarry by night. Too much work led to an early demise. When the fever took him, the entire town cried. Dallin Forster. Dallin Forster, well-respected ranch hand, loved animals more than people, could stop a charging bull with a single glance, but could not stand up to fatigue fever.
Come. Tell me your thoughts, Deputy.
Sounds like these people are being worked to death.
You examined the newest grave markers. Give me your impressions, Deputy.
Other than your father, all the recent deaths were laborers, ranchers, and quarry workers both.
Indeed. My father wrote that both the ranch and the quarry were working their laborers very hard of late. But prior to this, I never heard of a fever that strikes down strong, healthy workers in the prime of their lives. They call it fatigue fever.
And this fatigue fever is blamed for all these deaths, including your father?
So the town leaders would have everyone believe. My father made no mention of feeling unwell in his last letter. It was dated the same day he died. He often wrote to me about his investigations. Said it helped him think through all the permutations.
Did his letter say anything else that can help with our investigation?
Just that he was baffled. He described fatigue fever as a strange illness that was killing workers, but he had a feeling there was more involved in the deaths. He suspected foul play, and so do I. All right, enough chatter. Let's get back to it.
What do you want me to do next?
Talk to some of the townsfolk. They may be more willing to open up to a stranger than to me. You'd be surprised what ordinary folk pick up on when those in power fail to notice.
All right. Anyone in specific you think I should talk to?
My father's letter said he was planning to question Graku at the stone chip, ranch overseer Marak, and quarry boss Larina. Let's start where he left off and talk to them. Then, check my father's office. I haven't been able to do that yet.
What should I ask these townsfolk about?
Just see what they have to say about recent events. The deaths of their fellow workers. My father. What they think about fatigue fever. My father must have assumed they had something to tell him. We need to follow up on that.
Why do you want me to check your father's office?
My father's office. My office now, I suppose. It's been unoccupied since he died. I know I need to go in there. Take stock of things, but it's hard. If you could see if anything related to our investigation stands out, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Let's go talk to some people, see what we can find out. What is this person? She's not going to talk to me. Okay.
What else is there to do when you're not working at the quarry or ranch?
Welcome to the Stone Ship Tavern and Gambling Den, stranger. Looking for work in Ontus? Or did you come to our fine establishment because you heard we host the best games of chance this side of the Strid?
I'm helping Couple Yabrin with an investigation. Can I ask you a few questions?
So you're Yabrin's new deputy? Good. She could use the help. I'm not sure I could come back and dive into work after losing someone as close as Yabrin was to her father. What can I tell you, Deputy?
What can you tell me about Yabrin's father?
Constable Albrin was a good man. Kept the peace here. Made sure the workers, both native townsfolk and recent arrivals, got along. He was a friend. I know he was concerned about the illness spreading through town. Shame it killed him.
Constable Albrin was planning to talk to you. Any idea why?
We talked all the time. As I said, we were friends. He'd sometimes inquire if there was any chatter in the stone chip he needed to worry about. But the only news I can think of is that a lot of our regulars from the quarry haven't been in a while.
Since I'm new here, what should I know about the town of Ontus?
Not much to tell. We're a small town full of hard-working people. Most everyone is employed by the Carvane Ranch or the Raxley Quarry. Baron Carvane and Lady Raxley have always had sort of a friendly rivalry, but lately it seems less cordial.
Interesting. Less cordial? What do you mean?
The ranch makes a substantial profit providing food for the town and the region. While the quarry has had some success, since the war for the throne heated up, it's begun to challenge the Baron's status and put a strain on their relationship.
Tell me about the fatigue fever.
It's the illness affecting the workers. Took Constable Albrin, too. We saw the first signs of it a few months back. It started innocently enough. Most thought everyone was working too hard. But then those with the illness started dying.
Why do you think Constable Albrin was investigating an illness?
He was? That's a good question. I suppose maybe it was a little strange that only people who work at the ranch or the quarry were getting sick. Until, that is, Healer Navalma and Albrin got ill. The disease came upon them and they died very quickly.
Yeah, there's definitely something fishy going on here. Probably some kind of weird experiment that's being conducted on people. Or something like that. Okay, now what is this other door here? Oh, this goes into the tavern. Okay. So there's the gambling house and the stone chip place. Okay. Oh, he's a puppeteer. And you can steal his coins? God. It doesn't get lower than that. There's a dog. Can't pet him, though. This is the constable's station. Constable Ulbrin's notebook. Alright, so here's the office. Another typical day in Ontus. I will say that the increased output from the Carvane Ranch and the Raxalee Quarry has been impressive. I don't know what the ranch overseer and the quarry boss are feeding their workers, but whatever they're doing lately is certainly paying dividends. Yeah, some kind of experiment. The town healer, Navama, reports another worker has come down with a debilitating fever. Stress? Overwork? I asked her to keep me updated. Broke up a fight at the stone chip. Gamblers arguing over the outcome of a game. Grakug didn't want me to make a fuss, so I just sent the combatants back to their parts of town with a warning. 3 more workers have come down with what the healer is referring to as fatigue fever. Ewo from the ranch and 2 from the ranch and 1 from the quarry. Blames it on exhaustion. I should speak with the overseer and quarry boss about maybe scaling back a little on their current work base. The healer gave me a rundown on the effects of this mysterious illness. The inflicted become extremely tired and too weak to move. A terrible fever grips them, and they become delusional as they burn with sickness. As the illness progresses, they fall into a deep sleep from which she can't awaken them. And all this from workers who were extremely strong and healthy the last time she checked on them. Very strange. Okay, so they're giving the workers some kind of food or drink that's making them super strong, but then it kills them. The first 4 workers who fell ill died today. 2 worked at the ranch and 2 worked at the quarry. The healer can't put her finger on the cause as yet, but she is concerned that both the ranch and the quarry seem affected. So far, no one who doesn't work at either of these places has come down with this fatigue fever. I visited the ranch and the quarry on my rounds today. Even with a third of their workforce down with fatigue fever, both enterprises were fully engaged and appeared to be thriving. I never saw old Gul Vashrif heft such a large crate of stone before or move so quickly. And Dalen Foster at the ranch put on a show with how fast she loaded the wagons bound for the market in Skingrad. It was almost uncanny. More deaths from fatigue fever. The healer explained that at the end, the fever led to convulsions and foaming at the mouth before death finally took them. And I heard that Gul and Dalen have come down with the illness. I wish I could help them all somehow. Healer Devama sent me a note that she thinks she figured out something important about fatigue fever. I'm going to go meet with her now. I arrived to find the healer on the floor, gripped by convulsions and foaming at the mouth. She died in my arms. The first person not directly tied to the ranch or the quarry to succumb to fatigue fever. Her healer's log was missing. This is now looking more and more like a crime, not just a simple illness. I need to determine what she was going to tell me before she was silenced. I've set up appointments to talk to Ranch Overseer Barak, Quarry Boss Larina, and Garakug at the Stone Chip. After that, I plan to interview Baron Carvane and Lady Raxalee about whatever processes led to their increased productivity, and how it could be connected to fatigue fever. If someone did cause illness and killed all these people, including the healer, I will see them brought to justice. Too bad they got to him first. Oh, going the wrong way. Need to go this way. Quarry boss, Larina.
Another worker out sick. And right after one of my best died in his sleep. You look strong. Interested in making some coin in the quarry, stranger?
I already have a job. I'm working with Constable Yabrin. Can I ask you some questions?
Constable Ulbrin's daughter? Look, if this is about that conversation I had with Yabrin's father, I must have been mistaken. I don't know anything about the illness, other than I've lost more quarriers lately than I can replace.
You spoke with Constable Ulbrin before he died?
Briefly. I thought I noticed something, but I was wrong. Besides, he died before we could talk more. Look, the illness is bad, but my remaining quarriers are more than making up for the workers we lost. Beyond that, I have nothing more to say.
Tell me about the quarry.
Listen, I'm just the crew boss. I hire quarriers and keep them busy. If you have questions beyond that, you need to talk to Lady Raxley. She owns the quarry and knows a lot more about what you're asking than I do. Now, I have a quarry to run.
Okay. Ranch Overseer Marark.
Despite rumors to the contrary, Carvane Ranch only hires qualified applicants. Seasoned ranch hands only. We have no time or inclination to train novices. And we especially have no need of rowdies. Perhaps you should inquire at the quarry,
I'm here to ask you some questions on behalf of Constable Yabrin.
Ah, I see. I had an appointment to speak to her late father. Unfortunately, he succumbed to that terrible malady before that occurred. I'll tell you what I plan to tell him. No crime plagues the town of Ontus. Just a lamentable disease.
Why do you suppose Constable Ulbrin suspected a crime?
Isn't that the nature of lawkeepers? To see a crime behind every event? Guilt is the source of every motivation? Baron Carvane ordered me to cooperate, as long as it didn't interfere with the business of the ranch.
Who's Baron Carvane?
You really are new. The Baron owns Carvane Ranch, which feeds most of Westweald. This fatigue fever, as it has come to be known, is a burden on business, but you can't toss a disease in the dungeon. If there is nothing else, good day to you.
Alright, I think it's about time we spoke to this Baron person. Don't you? Well, there's the constable.
Deputy, were you able to interview the townsfolk I suggested?
They confirmed the seriousness of fatigue fever, but they claim to know nothing about any crimes.
I wonder what my father hoped to get out of talking to them. I know this is all tied to fatigue fever. I just don't know how. What about the constable's office? Did you find anything important there?
Here, I found this in your father's desk.
My father's notebook? It describes how productivity increased lately, at both the quarry and the ranch. Interesting. And he mentions how the town healer died suddenly, before she could share her findings.
Exactly.
2 suspicious deaths that break the pattern.
What are you thinking?
That 2 healthy people, not connected to the ranch or quarry, were suddenly inflicted with fatigue fever and died faster than any other victims. My father planned to talk to Baron Carvane and Lady Raxley next. Do that, while I investigate the healer.
I'll go talk to Baron Carvane and Lady Raxley.
Let's rally at the Stone Chip Tavern when you're done, Deputy.
Alright, sure will. What's up with this guy? Rowdy Tharden?
Ah, you're the new deputy that's been running around town asking questions.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm not inclined to appreciate such activity. Bear that in mind as you conduct your business with the Baron.
Well, I don't appreciate rowdy people standing around twiddling daggers either.
The Carvane Ranch does not sell to individual buyers. This is not a general store. Might I suggest the markets in Skingrad? Or perhaps you can purchase a meal at the Stone Chip Tavern.
I'm not here to buy food. I'm assisting Constable Yabrin with an investigation.
Glad to hear that young Yabrin has gotten right to work. Her father would be proud. But I am uncertain as to what I can tell you that would help advance her investigation. What exactly is she investigating, by the way?
We're looking into the deaths related to fatigue fever.
I didn't realize that sickness and illness were now the purview of the town constable. I can tell you what I know. A strange disease has befallen workers at my ranch and at Raxley's quarry. Unfortunate, but there's no crime that I can see.
It seems suspicious that both the town healer and Constable Ulbrin died from the illness.
Is it? No matter. None of this is a concern to me, and I have no idea how to help you. I have enough to do just to keep the ranch running in these difficult times. So if there is nothing else, I'll bid you good day and good luck with your inquiries.
Is killing all your workers and you don't care? What is going on here? I mean, I get that the other workers are more productive, right? But wouldn't it be better if the workers didn't die? Then you'd really increase output.
I heard you uncovered a lost shrine at Fungal Grotto. How eerie.
Lady Raxley is very busy. If you must talk to her, be succinct, be direct, and be polite. Then leave as soon as she dismisses you.
If you're looking for work, please talk to quarry boss Lorena. I have more important things to do than deal with common laborers.
I'm not here for a job. I'm assisting Constable Yabrin with an investigation.
Yabrin's back? I assumed she was fighting in Cyrodiil, or guarding the Count's precious bear. If this is about Ulbrin's suspicions, I'll tell you what I told the healer. My quarriers enjoy the rewards that come with hard work. Illness is not an issue.
Constable Ulbrin's notebook indicated that he was planning to talk to you.
Did it? I don't recall any standing appointments. The constable always treated me with the respect I deserve. He never found it inconceivable that Emperor Leovic personally granted an Argonian an imperial title. Not like Baron Carvane.
So your business hasn't suffered fatigue?
My business is none of your concern. We struggled in the past, and were almost forced to sell to Carvane. But we turned things around. All it took was a war, a demand for stone, and for our quarriers to work a little harder. Now, please leave.
Alright, I'm gonna have you in handcuffs before this is over, I promise. Or whatever the medieval equivalent is of handcuffs.
Why did we leave Hammerfell, Kurthan? You know why we left, my love. But all we found here was hard work and terrible sickness. Hard work is the same all over. And the illness will pass. I hope so, Kurthan. I hope so. We came here to start over. But Azamad labors on the ranch, while I am forced to work in the quarry. They work us so hard, it is no wonder people are getting sick.
That was my first thought, is that they were being worked hard, but now I think it's some kind of experiment.
We came to Westweald for a new beginning, but there hasn't been much call for my talents. I'm a painter by trade, but the only work I can find here is at the Carvane Ranch.
Traveler's Guide to Westweald. Traveler's Guide to Westweald by Baragon, Imperial Scribe. In this year 556 of the Second Era, I have been commissioned by Emperor Morikar to document an itinerary for travelers wishing to visit the Imperial West, Old Calovia, the Gold Road, and Westweald. This is a welcome assignment for me. I've resided in Skingrad since my adventuring days, and these are lands I've come to know well. Your tour of the Imperial West begins in Skingrad, the largest city of the Imperial West. The gem of Old Colovia is a bustling center of commerce, protected by high walls and strong gates. Behind its defenses, Skingrad reveals itself as a city of quaint alleyways, clean stone courts, and the fine townhouses of noble families. The crown jewel of the city is the great chapel of Julianos, a mighty temple dedicated to the god of wisdom. From Chapel Square, head southwest through the center of town. You will find an excellent inn, the Fertile Respite, at the city's Wayshrine Square. Continue to Skingrad's western district, passing by the Traders' Court, where itinerant merchants from all over Tamriel come to sell their wares. As you make your way to the Gold Gate, pause to admire the lovely statue of Kinnereth that stands in front of the Fighters Guild Hall. The people of Skingrad are well known for their pious inclinations. Skingrad is merely the beginning of our journey through the Imperial West. Here is the midpoint of the famous Gold Road, a vital link to Anvil and the sea trade of the Gold Coast. The road follows the vale of the Strid River westward, passing through a pleasant land of vineyards, orchards, woodlands, and charming towns such as Ostumir. While you could easily follow the Gold Road all the way to Anvil, that is the subject of a different travelogue. West of Ostumir, you should come to a path leading up into the hills. Follow it northward, past lonely homesteads such as Shardarok and the mysterious Ayleid ruins of Seond. Be careful about leaving the path in this area. The woods are home to the great black bears of Westweald. High above the mighty fortress of Feldegard Keep, the path from Ostumir meets the ancient Highlands Road. Turn left to follow the old road into the western portion of the Colovian Highlands. In Hastrel Hollow, you will find the picturesque ruins of an old First Empire watchtower. Farther west, the road brings you to the quaint town of Such and the nearby Ayleid ruin of Niriestere. I have some personal experience with the dangers of this site, so I urge you to admire the place from a safe distance and then return the way you came. Following the road east, you soon come to the heart of Old Colovia, the Colovian Highlands. Here stands the trade town of Leftwheel at the head of the Brenner River. Most trade between Hammerfell and Cyrodiil goes by sea via the Gold Coast, but the old overland routes from Rihad to Leftwheel remain important. From Leftwheel, the Highlands Road winds its way through the hills to the prosperous town of Ontus. Many Redguard settlers now make their home in this area, providing the Imperial West with a small taste of life in Hammerfell. In Ontus, turn southeast. Your route now descends through the verdant hills and plains of the Imperial Reserve, former hunting ground of the Riemann Emperors. While these lands were once for the use of the Emperors alone, all are free to hunt here now. Weatherly Estate stands along the northern margin of the area, an outstanding example of a Colovian noble's manor. Continue east, and you come to a trail leading north. Here, a brief detour takes you to the striking ruins of Ellenglen, another remnant of the long-dead Ayleids who once ruled over these lands. Be careful not to stray too far into the wild south of Ellenglen. These hills and dells are home to hostile goblin tribes. Yes, they are. Or they were hostile, although not as hostile now. The final leg of your circuit returns you to Skingrad from the north. Like the Gold Road, the Highlands Road passes through a wide and prosperous belt of vineyards, farms, and country manors as you draw near to the city. Enter Skingrad through its north-facing chapel gate. Your travels through Westweald conclude at the foot of the great chapel of Julianos, where you began. Fair travels to you, reader. Alright, that was a fun digression, but let's get on with the investigation. Back to the gambling den.
Deputy, over here. Deputy, I have a message for you from Constable Yabrin.
What's the message?
The constable said she found something at the healers that pointed to a possible source of fatigue fever. She asked me to let you know. and that you should meet up with her. She wants you to help her search Carvane Manor and Lady Raxley's tower.
Sounds like a plan. Constable Yabrin thinks Baron Carvane or Lady Raxley are responsible in some way. I agree.
That I couldn't say. She wasn't exactly eager to share the details of her investigation in the middle of a town gambling den. But between you and me, if Carvane and Raxley aren't guilty of this, they sure as Tusk are guilty of something.
Where can I find the manor and tower?
Carvane Manor's south of town, on the Carvane Ranch. Watch yourself there. The ranch hands don't take kindly to trespassers. As for Lady Raxley's tower, it's north of town, looming over the quarry.
All right. Oh. Seriously, people are gonna attack me?
Attention here! Hey!
It's a really dumb AI there. Kind of disappointed in Zos that they had that enemy just run against against this table here and not be able to get out.
That's done. What's next? I'm still feisty.
Ah, I blew it. Profitable discovery. Baron C, our favorite alchemist, discovered a substance in a newly dug section of the quarry that could solve our productivity issues. If you're willing to set aside our usual animosity, come to my office. I believe you will be very interested in my proposal. Lady R. Carvane Manor. Wait, I was just in here. What did I miss? I missed some kind of clue or something. Look at all these provisioning supplies. Or just flat out meals. Keep seeing this quest marker. It's above. Okay. Delivery confirmation. The following items are to be shipped to Zegger's Blind, northeast of Ontus, immediately, by order of Baron Carvane. Use a covered wagon and be discreet. Delivered directly to Alchemist Sirius. Lamb, 700 pounds. Cabbage, 230 heads. Potatoes, 300 pounds. Flour, 40 sacks. Alright, we gotta search Lady Raxley's tower next, but I'm actually gonna end the video right here. I'm gonna come over here where it's fairly safe, and in the next episode we'll finish this quest, and then we'll go back to town and finish the zone quest. Start the next zone quest, and start the next scribing quest as well. So we'll get all that stuff done in the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time.